Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, this week we're going to be taking a look at a real dirty sounding electric blues played in the key of C. And I'm going to show you how to play everything that I played in the intro there, note for note. So we'll break that down. It's going to be over 2 videos. So in this video we're going to look at the first half. And there's 3 different artists that go into this. There's quite a bit of Eric Clapton, kind of the John Mayall, Blues Breakers era Clapton. There's also Gary Moore, and there's a little bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan as well. So a lot to digest in this lesson. So this would be really more for an intermediate guitar player. Although if you're a beginner, there's definitely elements of this that you'll be able to play. You're going to want to do this one on electric guitar though. So if you want to download the tablature and the jam track that I used, the jam track is pretty important to be able to practice with. You're going to want to go to ActiveMelody.com and look for EP056. That's the lesson number for this lesson. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first half. Alright, so real quick, let's talk about tone. Normally when I play, I use a Blues Driver BD2 pedal, which is made by Boss. And that's what I use on 99% of the videos that I make. I'm not a big pedal guy. I get confused, to be honest with you. There's so many options. And so I like to just get like a nice overdrive sound and just kind of go with it. But on this video, I'm using a full tone OCD pedal. So the brand is full tone, and the type of pedal is just OCD, as in obsessive compulsive disorder. And it gives you a really nice sound, and I've got all the dials at 50%. So the tone is at 50%, the volume is at 50%, and the drive is at 50. And that in combination with these pickups on this 335 give you a really nice full sound. So if you had a Les Paul, you would get that kind of sound too. A Stratocaster is not going to be quite so there wouldn't be quite so much growl. Well, it depends on the pickups in the Strat, but stock pickups won't give you that as much. But anyway, that's what I'm doing, and a lot of the tone has a real bass element to it. So the pickup selector switch I've got right now is in the middle, so it's between these 2 pickups. But I've got one tone set at 0 and one tone set at about 7 or 8. So I think it gives you a nice mix of tone when you pull them together like that. And so anyway, that's what gives you that growl. And when I originally did it, I had it all the way on the neck pickup, which gives you even more bass. But I thought it was a little too much for the recording, so I ended up switching between the 2. So that's the tone. That's how I got it. Amplifier, I'm actually not even playing through an amp right now. I've got everything running through a pod amp emulator, and I've got some kind of a, who knows, an amp modeling setting that I couldn't even describe. So you don't even have to have an amp these days to have a decent sounding tone. But when I do play through an amp, I use a Blues DeVille, which is a Fender amp. Okay, so that's that. Oh, the only other thing is there's a little bit of reverb in there, but that's it. Now, the first thing I should point out, we are in the key of C. You know what, I'm going to switch, let me switch over to a different driver here just while I'm teaching you the breakdown. I think it'll be easier to hear what's going on. Now, the rule of thumb you're going to notice in all my lessons, I always talk about the root fret, and I'm not going to go into detail on how to find it in this one because I've done that so many times, and cover that in the blues lead course at Active Melody. But the root fret in this case is here on the 8th fret. That's the fret when you're barring, you're making a bar chord to make a C chord, you bar the 8th fret, so that's your root fret. So pattern 1, when you're thinking the minor pentatonic scale, that pattern 1, again covered in the blues lead course at Active Melody. Pattern 1 is right there. So most of these licks that we're going to play are coming right out of pattern 1. And so anyway, I just wanted to give you a little reference as to, you know, what key we're in. We're in the key of C, and we just stay in that pattern 1 for a lot of this this solo. And the solo is in 2 parts, and so in this video we're just going to look at the first half. The second half will be available to premium members at Active Melody. Just look for EP056. Okay, so the first thing I did was I went just did this bend here as a full bend. I started, and again, look at pattern 1. We're right here on the 2nd string, right within pattern 1, but I started on the 8th fret 2nd string, and I picked that a few times, and then I came all the way up here to the 11th fret, and I use my ring, it's a combination really, I use my ring finger on the 11th fret, but I put my middle finger down right behind it. It would, I guess, technically be on the 10th fret, and I use both those fingers to push because to do the bend, because when I do the bend, I also apply some vibrato, and that's a really hard thing to do if you're just getting into bends. To do a bend and hit the note is one thing, but to do a bend, hit the note, and then have this waving vibrato without losing your place is pretty challenging. So if that's too challenging for you, don't try and do the vibrato. Or if you've got a tremolo on your guitar, you could do it that way. So a lot of people do that. But you could just bend it straight and not give it the vibrato. But that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a full bend here on the 11th fret, and I'm doing it twice. I'm bending it, releasing it, and bending it again. So listen. Just like that. So I bend it up, release it, and then bend it again. And a full bend, anytime you hear me talk about a full bend is matching the note that's 2 frets higher from where you start. So if we're starting on the 11th fret, we go up 2 frets, that's the 13th fret. That's the note you're trying to hit. Hear how I'm hitting it? Okay, so that's the first thing that happens is those 2 full bends. Now, after that's bent, then you go. Okay, got that? I'm kidding. Okay, let's break that down. So what we do for that is we start here on the 8th fret 1st string, and that's the same note. Notice that is you're matching that note, so it kind of blends to the ear when you do it in up to tempo. So anyway, that's the first note. We're starting 8th fret 1st string, back down to the 11th fret 2nd string, which we were just there. Then we're on the 8th fret 2nd string. Then we're going to come down to the 10th fret 3rd string with our ring finger. So let's just do that part. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go into the detail on the right hand second. Let's get the left hand first, and I'll show you the right hand. The right hand is really just alternate picking. It's just down, up for most of this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come back to the 8th fret 2nd string. Then we come back down here to the 10th fret 3rd string, and we go. So we go 1, 2, 3, and that's just a full bend on the 10th fret 3rd string. 1, then just the 10th fret 3rd string without the bend, and then down to the 8th fret 3rd string. So let's put all those pieces together slowly. So we have. That's the first part. Then we have. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, now after that, then I take my ring finger and I come down here and play the 10th fret 4th string. And when I push down on the 10th fret 4th string, I go ahead and bar with my ring finger because I'm going to also play the 10th fret 3rd string like this. So, but I do it all in the same timing, so it's like this. Hear how I'm doing both of those there on the 10th fret, string 4 and 3. Then after that, I come back to the 8th fret 3rd string, then back down to the 10th fret 4th string. So it's you have. those 4 notes together. Let me do all of those notes slowly. So we have. And then we end, the final note is the 8th fret 3rd string with some vibrato. And when I do the vibrato, I push it slightly sharp. So, okay, so that's a mouthful. Let's put it all together. So, now I just did something different there. I just did a bend and release when I did that 10th fret 3rd string. Instead of picking it like this. It really depends. I would do that different. I might do it one way one time and do it another way another time. So the good news is you have options. So if it's too hard to pick it, you can go out like this. You can just bend it and release it. You're hitting the same note either way. You're just not emphasizing the note. So let's back up. We have. Alright, so we're still over the C chord. Now the second half of what we play over that initial C chord was. So it goes. There's that final note that we played in where we pushed the note a little bit sharp. Then after that we went. Now let me show you what I'm doing there. I'm coming down here to the 10th fret 4th string with my ring finger. Then I'm down to the 8th fret 4th string. Now I'm going to come down to the 10th fret 5th string with my ring finger, and we're going to do something we've already done. We're going to bar again once I push down with that ring finger. So I'm going to play string 5, and then I'm going to come up and play string 4, both on the 10th fret. So we have those 4 notes, or those 3 notes. Actually, it's 4. Alright, so now let's back up. Let me just play everything up to that point. I'll do it slowly. Okay, so that was where we played the string 5 and 4, right, on the 10th fret. So after that, we're going to come back and play the 5th string on the 10th fret. So we keep that bar down and we just play string 5, 4, and 5 like that. So just practice doing that. After that, then we come up here to the 4th string on the 7th fret. I'm sorry, 4th string on the 8th fret. Then we're on the 10th fret again on the 4th string. Then we're on the 8th fret 3rd string, 10th fret 3rd string. So you can see we just did a little box there. And then we end again with that same vibrato on the 8th fret 3rd string. So if we you can hear it. What it sounds like when you put it all together. So let me play through the whole thing up to tempo so you get a reference of that. Now the last thing I did, I just came down here the 10th fret 4th string and just sort of rolled down. I think that's what I did in the intro. So after that I played. And this part is actually pretty easy. And this has got that kind of Gary Moore thing going on. I mentioned Gary Moore. He doing that little bend there. He would do that a lot. And you'll notice that when it's what I'm doing is kind of interesting. I'm starting, so the minor pentatonic scale looks like this, right? But I'm starting here, which would be the 10th fret 2nd string, which is actually not in that minor pentatonic scale. So technically, you're kind of in the major scale, but you're going to do this half bend, which pushes it into the minor pentatonic scale. Kind of weird, but in your ear will even tell you it sounds a little weird, but in a cool way. But that's just another note to remember. So if you're ever playing a blues, it doesn't matter what key it's in. When you're in that pattern 1, if you're playing in the key of A, for example, and get in tune, you can come up here and go. So that's what we're doing here in the key of C, of course. So we're starting there then on the 10th fret 2nd string, and I'm doing a half bend. So I'm only bending up 1 note. Remember, a full bend is when you're trying to match 2 notes, 2 frets above where you are. A half bend is 1 fret. So I hold that for a while, so make sure you got some sustain on your whatever effect you're using so that the note will ring out. So after I do the bend, then I pick it again and go. It's a bend and release, so it brings us right back down to where we started, 10th fret 2nd string, 8th fret 2nd string, 10th fret 3rd string. So that's where we are so far. We have now I come back to the 8th fret 2nd string, and then watch this, then I go. Now watch, my fingers are all right there in this. They're kind of bouncing between the 10th fret and the 8th fret, and I'm playing between the 10th fret and the 8th fret a lot because, again, you can see that's a lot of that pattern 1 there. So now once we come back, or we land with our ring finger here on the 10th fret 3rd string, I go. I do a full bend and a release. So I bend the 10th fret, full bend, then I play just the 10th fret, 8th fret 3rd string, back to the 10th fret 3rd string. So we have, got that? Let's put it all together now. I always like to keep backing up and getting you caught up to where we are. So okay, now after that I went. And that's just a hammer-on, pull-off, hammer-on. It sounds hard and it looks hard, but it's really easy. All I do is I keep my pointer finger anchored here on the 8th fret 3rd string, and I hammer onto the 10th fret 3rd string, and then I do a pull-off. See, it's a hammer-on, pull-off. Easy so far, right? Then I just come down and I do another hammer-on to the 10th, but that's to the 10th fret 4th string. So see, I'm just picking it once. Okay, so all together, and then I ended it with. Notice again, I'm pushing that note sharp. I've done that every time I've hit it. So I'm going right here to the 8th fret 3rd string. And I hit it twice, but I kind of push it sharp as I do. And then the final note there is on the 10th fret 4th string. Okay, so let's put all of that little second part through, or the F part rather. We can that was the F chord in this. We'll put all the notes together. So we have. Alright, so then the next thing that happens after that little part, it sounds like this. And what I do for that is, after that, I come up here and play the 7th fret, I'm sorry, the 8th fret 3rd string, And then when I play that, I go ahead and just bar the top. Really, I'm just barring the top 2 strings. So that's the next thing that's going to happen right here in that same fret. But before that happens, my ring finger comes down here to the 10th fret 3rd string and does a full bend. And while that bend happens, notice I take my pointer finger and I just go ahead and bar strings 1 and 2 on the 8th fret. So that I can do that. And there's the first note. Then I do the bend. And when I do the bend, you can see my finger comes down in bars here. So that's playing string 3, 2, 1. Just like that. Alright, so the timing is going to be tricky on this. That's what you're going to want to loop. Just loop this over and over again. Until it's just drilled in your head, right? Okay, so that's where we're at. Now, and that's how we end that. And so after the Chuck Berry, that part, then I come back to the 3rd fret. I'm sorry, the 3rd string on the 10th fret, and I do a pre-bend and release. So by pre-bend, I mean go ahead and bend it, but don't play it, so that when you do play it, you can bend it like that. All right. So then what happens next is that little run. So let's learn that. That's just starting here on the 10th fret, 3rd string, doing a full bend and a release. And then coming down and playing the 8th fret 3rd string. Then we're down here playing the 10th fret 4th string, and when I do that, I'm going to bar again so that I can play the 3rd string also on the 10th fret. 4th string and the 3rd string on the 10th fret, just like that. So just like that. And then we come down to the 8th fret 3rd string. And then the final note is back here on the 10th fret 4th string. So there's just a lot of looping there between that 8th fret and 10th fret. So let me go through, play those notes slowly. So we have, let me do it again. So there's just that bend and release. See, we're on 8th, 10th, string 4, string 3. We're back on 8 again, and then on 10. So let me put those notes all together now. So we have Alright, so let's put those two parts together. So we have then we have, let's learn that. So what I'm doing there is I'm starting on the 10th fret 4th string, coming up to the 8th fret 3rd string, 10th fret 3rd string. So we have those notes. Now we're going to do a slide. We're going to slide up to the 12th fret 3rd string. And notice I'm doing that with my middle finger, because I'm going to take my ring finger here and I'm going to come and play this 13th fret 2nd string, playing that note. And typically when you do that slide, you're playing that note, which is a bluesy sound, but sometimes I like to just to throw the ear off, I like to come up and grab that note. So again, 13th fret, 2nd string. And then after that, I'm going to slide right back down on the 3rd string, back down to the 10th fret, 8th fret, 3rd string, 10th fret, 3rd string, and then those two notes, it's just a 8th fret, 3rd string, 10th fret, 4th string. And then the last part of that goes. And what I do there is I start here on the 11th fret, 2nd string. And again, if you just visualize pattern 1 here, this all makes sense. So just that's so key to understanding why these notes work. So that's 2nd string, 11th fret. Then I just come down here to the 3rd string on the 10th fret, and I do that full bend again. We've already bent that note. And then I release the note, so we have those 3. And then after that I go. And that's just a hammer-on between the, it's on the 3rd string, but it's between the 8th fret and the 10th fret. There's the hammer-on. Okay, so then we're going to play the 8th fret, 3rd string. Come down here to the 10th fret, 4th string, 8th fret, 4th string, 10th fret, 4th string. So let's put all of that together. So what we have is let me do it again. I'll do it a little slower. Alright, so now let's piece it all together up to this point. So we have and then for the little turnaround part, all I played was, and this part is pretty easy because we've done most of this. So there's that hammer-on pull-off thing. So it's 3rd string on the 8th fret, 10th fret, 10th fret, 3rd string. Those are your first 2 notes. Now watch this. So I'm going to pick it once. Hammer on to the 3rd, so this is on the 3rd string still. 8th fret, 10th fret, do a pull off, so that leaves you with the 8th fret. So we have 8, 10, 8. And then we hammer on to the 10th fret, 4th string. So we have okay. So after that, then I go. And that's just, again, pushing that note sharp. So that's that 3rd string, 8th fret. I play it twice. Then I come down to the 10th fret, 4th string. 8th fret, 4th string. 10th fret, 5th string. And that's the final note. Alright, so that covers really the first part of the solo. Let me go ahead and play through it. I'll do it slowly so you have this as a reference.